going to be an incredible night of vampire stories. We'll begin in about 13 minutes, so if you're joining this on a recording later, you can skip ahead 13 minutes if you want to get straight to the story. But we're going to be reading Varney the Vampire. This is a classic, that's the front. This is a classic vampire story from the 1840s. This is 50 years older than Dracula. It's exciting, it's fun. Vampire, like this set almost everything you think you know about vampires, the things we all love about vampires, almost all of that started with this. Not Dracula, this. This is what really got a lot of those things going for us. Hey, Mary, welcome in. Welcome. It's good to see me. Hello, everybody over in TikTok land. As always, if you tap for likes on the screen, I will do magic. Every 50,000 taps will translate to me doing a magic trick for you. So thank you so much. Well, welcome back, Sierra. Welcome back. Mary, thank you for the stars. Thank you for the heartbeats. Thank you for the roses. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Yes, it is the privilege of a beautiful woman to keep us all waiting anxiously for her arrival. Move things around here. Try to get situated. I've got a deck of cards ready, so those of you who do some taps, we will definitely be willing to reward you with some magic. Do you enjoy magic? I think it's fun. I think it's most fun when it's done slowly and methodically. Dude, your mom jokes are not funny. Nobody likes those. That's Shay.
In an order that would surprise you.
That's not funny. That is not funny. I am so sorry you had to hear that. I'm absolutely. Thank you for the stars. Thank you so much. My wife is incredible. Up and Adams says only 6. That's stretching for him, I can tell you. That's pushing it to the limits for him. Thank you for the heart me's. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm not the mayor yet, but I will be. You guys keep supporting me. Somebody asked for a t-shirt today from my website, you know, the vampiremayor.com. And he wanted it signed. So he sent me the information, and I signed a t-shirt. I've never thought about signing a t-shirt or somebody wanting that. That's a very strange feeling. It's only the second time I've ever done an autograph. I guess that'll be a thing we do sometimes through this campaign. It's kind of humbling. Have a good time, dude. CDs are a very safe way, but I wouldn't call it investing. Somebody, Christian says, would you recommend CDs as a safe way to invest? I wouldn't consider CDs investment.
Yeah, they're all plastic and get scratched up, but I think they break too easy.
Yeah, you're probably right, dear. You're probably right. So I've got something new going. Everybody let me know how good we're looking on Zuckerberg's platform over here. So you guys up here, let me know if it's looking good. I feel like we've got things going.
Fancy.
Isn't she beautiful? Everybody look at her. She's here to help us read.
Brayer horses? I don't know what those are, but I do like Peruvian pasos. I think they're pretty.
So CDs, the problem with them is they don't even keep up with the rate of inflation. As investing goes, you want an investment that's going to exceed inflation. Yeah, if you want to do safe investing, probably some blue chip stocks are a much better choice than CDs. That or a mutual fund.
Mutual of Omaha.
Aw, Eve's called you Morticia.
Thank you.
This sweetie. Thank you for all the stars. We're in the Star Party Challenge going right now.
So I'm going to order an animal hair brush.
An animal hair brush?
Yes.
What's the animal hair brush going to be for?
These rugs.
But the brushes are, I mean, these rugs are already made of animal hair.
It's a brush for him.
So it's a brush that is for animal hair, not made of animal hair.
Right.
You see how that could be confusing, because when you say an animal hair brush, it makes me
English
think...
language, English language.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you so much.
We do have some cleaners. Thank you.
You wish I was your landlord in Virginia.
But if you want to send us your information, go for it.
Yeah, you never know. We might need another one.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that happens. I'm trying to get all of our framing worked out here. Adjust this a little bit.
Ooh, Daytona Beach. We've been there once. I think Shane's been there twice.
I've been there twice. We accidentally went on spring break. It was not a good time in Daytona Beach.
It wasn't an accident. We didn't know it was spring break.
Well, that's what made it an accident. The spring break part was the accident. We wanted to be in Daytona Beach. We didn't necessarily want to be there during spring break. It's just the kind of thing you don't think about when you're not in school.
We are in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
You gave us a monthly subscription, Chuck. Thank you so much.
Thank
That
you.
helps us as creators more than, I mean, that is one of the most helpful things a person can do. Because I can tell you, content creation fluctuates. During this sale of the TikTok platform over the last couple months, they basically cut my pay by a fourth while they were selling the platform. And now the numbers have come back up finally. But where I usually would make $4,000 or $5,000 a month on TikTok, I made $1,000 or $1,500, which is
Definitely
not
hurt.
enough. Not enough.
Hello, Wales. I like your flag. I think it's cool. Hi, Donna. Good evening.
Any news on my mayoral run? I was talking to attorneys quite a bit today. Update on the new doggo, please, and thank you. So we did not find the owner. It's too big, white, and fluffy for us to let it inside with us, and it seemed safe enough. It seemed like it understood how to use the sidewalks and stuff. So I thought, well, maybe it would go home if we let it roam. But it hung around here all night last night. It went by my job site, though. I was working about 5 or 6 blocks away, and maybe an hour after I left to go to work today, it came by the job site for a little bit, and it's just the slowest little wanderer. It's not in a hurry. It's almost like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh or something.
Well, I saw in the comments lots of people talking about the dog being a local dog that actually roams often. But I've been here for 5 years at this address and had never seen that dog before.
And it definitely was there last night, and it was here this morning. So
the owner lives behind Family Dollar. Oh, well, there we go. Thank you.
yeah, well, it was walking in that direction earlier, very slowly. Hopefully it gets home.
He was a sweetie.
Yeah.
Or she. I didn't actually take a look under the hood.
It was like a giant teddy bear. He just wanted to hug it and hang on to it.
It's not that cold here. It was 70 today. Or more. What was it today?
It was 75 today.
I could actually tell you. I could tell you how warm it got to be here.
According to my vehicle, it was 75. Someone said it was owned by someone up near Midland Avenue. I haven't had time yet to go through all the comments on that video. I've been working all day, hanging drywall and doing work on houses.
My phone says 73, so it was quite lovely. I didn't felt the need to wear under things to keep extra warm.
And if anybody wants to know about the previous dog, Astro, back in October or maybe September, there was another dog. This one was abandoned here. It was very clearly abandoned. He was a puppy. He was not an experienced dog. But we did get him a home out on a farm, and they took care of worming him and taking care of some problems that he had, and he's still doing well.
If he uses an FHA loan to buy a duplex or quadplex.
What about it?
It's called house hacking.
Yeah, that's often called house hacking now, but it used to be pretty normal.
Most of the loans that you get, there are stipulations to FHA you may have to double check on, but most loans you can refinance after so many years, and then you can borrow against them in that way, if that's what you're talking about. But double check your rules.
Did I buy the house with the stained glass? I will do an update on the stained glass window house very, very soon, I promise. Probably tomorrow if everything goes the way we'd like. we've negotiated, and
You
I
have a
think we've come to an
bobcat.
agreement
That's
that will work.
cool. I don't know anybody that has a pet bobcat, except for maybe you now. Very cool. Very, very cool. So when we last left Varney was hanging out with this family. It's a dude, his wife, her little sister, and little brother.
Hmm. They had an accident when they were on their carriage ride, mysteriously, and the whole carriage tipped over sideways. But Varney, being the gentleman that he is, decided to stop and help. And he helped them, helped the ladies first. He, of course, encouraged the ladies to be helped and made sure they were taken care of. Then they helped to lift the carriage upright and get the horses going and everything so they could make it back to a place to stay.
And they did make it to a place to stay.
And they stayed this night at an inn that they were traveling towards. And during the night, would you believe that a young lady had her arm bitten and
Oh, strange.
It was a person standing over her that was supposedly biting her arm, and in all the commotion as she screamed out in the night, they set her room on fire with one of the torches they were using.
A gentleman tripped and dropped his candle on the
It
curtains.
was a torch, I thought, like a lamp, right?
Candle?
A lamp, candle. Either way, it went poof up on the curtains and everything caught fire. But fortunately, Varney came in quickly to help, and he helped to extinguish the flames. And he made
He
sure the
rescued her.
he made sure the young lady was okay, because that's what a gentleman would do: take care of the ladies first. And I suppose we're about to find out what happens after all that commotion. They've sent her for a doctor to check her out and make sure she's okay, and he thinks that she'll be okay and everything, and she's safe to travel. But I guess we'll find out today what happens.
Yeah, the doctor came and went, and I think... Yes, here's the surgeon.
23 horses. That's so many horses.
Ooh. The next morning came, and with it came also the usual bustle of a country inn, when strangers are stopping there, especially carriage strangers, as well as the usual coach stoppages. When they change horses, which they did more than once that morning. It was a later hour than usual when the party breakfasted, and it was somewhat late when Sir Francis Varney entered the room.
"Good morning,"
said Sir Francis, with a great suavity of manner and in a most courtly tone.
"I trust I see you somewhat recovered from the fright you were put through last night."
"Oh, Sir Francis," said Mrs. Fraser, "it was a dreadful fright indeed, but we have so much to thank you for. To you we owe much, and my sister owes you a double obligation. You have rescued her twice."
"I am happy to think I have been a fortunate instrument in serving you. I trust Miss Stevens is better than she was?"
"I think she is better, Sir Francis, but she desires to remain in her apartment until we are ready to start, though I thought it somewhat unreasonable, because if she is to travel, she had better have come out."
"But her rest was disturbed by the accident, and it might have been early before she slept, and an hour's rest and repose might do much towards recovering her. Her own feelings are a good guide under those circumstances."
"I think so too," said Captain Fraser. "I," said young Stevens, "was awoke by a desperate riot caused by people running about. I did not hear anything of a scream." "I was awoke by it," said Captain Fraser. "How did you hear of it? How were you awoke?"
"By a loud scream. I was asleep, and when I awoke I knew not what it was. I remained for a moment or two in doubt as to whether I had not dreamt it, but a repetition assured me that it was not dreaming, and knowing from the sound it was a female's voice, I jumped up and dressed myself as well as I could. But before I could do that, I heard people running about, and when I got into the gallery, I heard the door burst in."
"Did anyone come out?"
"I cannot say. I saw no one, but the man who first entered the apartment fell down, from some cause or another, and let the bed curtains on fire, accidentally, of course. But it was the same in effect."
"Did you see anyone in the room, Sir Francis?"
"No one at all. I did not even know who slept there, but seeing the form of a human being lying there and wrapping the bedclothes, or rather seizing her in the bedclothes by grasping with both arms, I carried her out. I used but little ceremony, and the urgency of the case must be my excuse. I feel like we already read this chapter.
Did we?
I think so.
Oh.
Did you go back one too many?
Perhaps.
Then we can continue on. Are you guys enjoying this? Should we continue on, or are we repeating from last week?
We're not repeating?
We're waiting. It's fine.
I thought it was the next morning. All right, we'll go on.
Okay, continue then.
And it is, Sir Francis, though I know not in what way we can manifest our feelings of gratitude to you.
You may, madam, by saying no more about it. But I shall be delighted to think you have such a good opinion of my services and the knowledge that they have been useful. That is gratification to me.
And one you are well entitled to, Sir Francis,
said Captain Fraser. How far are you feeling?
As far as Bath, madam, for the benefit of my health.
We are going to Bath, Sir Francis, as well as I am sure it will be a great pleasure to Captain Fraser to find that we are to have a traveling companion such as you. That is, if you can accommodate yourself to traveling in a carriage.
I can travel as you please. I am mounted, and I am used to such traveling for months at a time.
Do you travel much at a time, Sir Francis?
Yes, I have been a great traveler for years. Not so much as regards to distance, but as to the constancy of my preambulations, for I continue for months together out riding from one town to another.
Without an attendant?
Always. I never carry a servant about with me. I cannot be done with comfort by anyone. You have always proper attendance if you stop at respectable inn or hostel, or if not, if the road you have to travel be a cross route. You cannot expect any additional comfort from a servant, but you are troubled at his not being comfortably lodged. At least I am, for I have tried it. And that's kind of true still to this day. If you're going on a long road trip and there are other people that are going with you, even if they're there to help you with things, sometimes that can be you got to stop for the extra bathroom break with their timing and all those comfortable things.
I dare say there's much wisdom in that. I know from experience that a single traveler who has leisure and is willing may enjoy himself better than he could if he were affected by a servant. You are somewhat restrained in your motions and cannot do as you would please under all circumstances.
I am fully persuaded of that from experience, but I shall travel on horseback till I get to Bath, and then I hardly know whether I shall remain at the hotel or take lodgings for the season, or what.
What we intend to do is take lodgings, said Captain Fraser, for a time, as long as we feel inclined, and then to enjoy ourselves.
Quite right, quite right. I am glad to hear you say so, and I hope it may be of advantage to Miss Stevens.
I hope so too. Shall we have the advantage of your company en route?
I shall have great pleasure in having your company so far as it will give me great gratification indeed. I shall be most happy to bear your company as far as the city of Bath, and shall consider myself the gainer of your society.
Now, we shall be the only party that will benefit by it. But we shall feel greatly your kindness, and I, for one, anticipate much pleasure on the road from your society, and also when we arrive in Bath.
I feel such will be the case.
At this moment, Mr. Carter was announced also. In a few moments more, this individual was introduced to them. He was a plain gentlemanly man, who really was a clever man, notwithstanding the fearful account of his prowess and skill which the landlord had decanted on the previous night.
Well, Mr. Carter,
said Captain Fraser,
how do you find my sister? Do you think that she is any better than she was? I think she is calmer, and much of the first violence and terror is gone, but I cannot say more. She is still much disturbed. Do you think there is anything dangerous in her state? Oh, no, sir, I do not, though I cannot hide from you the possibility that there is of her being permanently affected by it. I mean, mentally. It may take a deep hold of her, and there will be no getting her free from it, save by judicious treatment.
Are you convinced now that we've already read this?
A wee bit.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't just me.
Well, I feel like they did talk about it some before they all went back to bed.
Yeah, but now we have the doctor again, so
Yes, the doctor came before bed too.
maybe. It's very repetitive if it's not been read already. You do not consider much, consider much then of her wound? Oh, wait.
That's okay.
So good.
The arm? Oh, yes, that looks very angry, and has been very severe bit, and has caused her arm to swell, though I have no doubt about it getting well. Still, it will be very painful for some days, and had it been a little more severe, it is possible that some of the tendons might have been injured, or an artery wounded.
Upon my word. This had very nigh turned out a very bad and serious affair, if not a dangerous one.
Of that there can be no doubt. Well, but, after all, what was the disturbance? Was it a man or a brute?
Decidedly the latter. Decidedly the latter by the form of the creature, what it may.
Indeed you are right, Sir Francis.
Said Mrs. Fraser. I got stuck on the guys' voices.
Oh.
Indeed, you are right, Sir Francis. But she insists it was a human being who made this abominable attack upon her. Why or wherefore no one knows, but she insists it was a man.
What do you say, Doctor?
I only know, sir, what the young lady says.
Do you think it probable?
I cannot say. I do. I think it most unlikely, though. To be sure, there is nothing in it that is impossible. Had anyone felt maliciously toward the young lady, they might have perpetrated the crime. But, in the absence of all malice, I cannot think so bad of human nature as to believe it.
You discredit it, then?
I do. With all due respect, the young lady, but the probability of mistake is so great, and when you consider the terror so natural to the occasion, her powers of observation were limited and liable to error, that I cannot myself believe otherwise than there is a great mistake.
And what do you consider of the wounds? I mean, do you think it possible they were inflicted by human teeth? Are they that of the shape of a character that could be inflicted by human teeth?
Yes, decidedly that is. So far as I am able to judge, while the wound is swelled and angry, I should consider them just such as might be inflicted by teeth of man or woman.
What corroborates the young lady's own belief?
It does so far.
Then comes the question of how could it have been done and by whom?
There seems to be questions which cannot be answered. I asked the landlord all that could be tend to the illicit, that information, but with no success. He knew nothing that could throw any light upon the subject.
Perhaps he knew nothing.
Most probably he did not.
I know the landlord to be a respectable, though somewhat eccentric man, and I think him quite incapable of being a party to such an outrage upon any person, much less upon a lady who is stopping at his house.
An eccentric landlord? How strange.
Very strange.
Well, however true that might be, yet it is undeniable that the outrage has been committed through by whom we cannot say, for we do not even suspect anybody. I can't understand it at all.
Nor I, but as you observed, sir, the outrage has been committed, and here too. But unfortunately no one is suspected, and justice cannot be done, which in such a case ought to be fully and clearly made out, for there can be no palliation.
None at all.
I wish, said Captain Fraser, that I had been first in the room.
Why, sir? Why would you wish that?
Because, you see, sir, I have felt that inward satisfaction arising from the fact that I fancy that I might have ascertained whether anyone was or had been in the room.
The young lady said there was.
Yes, but then you saw the door opened and saw no one come out.
I did not, though. After I had Miss Stevens in my arms, I came away, and then it was possible anyone might have gotten out, though there were no others who would have seen. But still, in the bustle and the confusion of the moment, there might have been somebody.
Yes, there is that possibility. And I don't see why I should trouble myself about this affair. I mean, by wishing myself there. But I should have done nothing but carry out the body. That would have been my first act.
No doubt. And what made such an act all the more necessary is the fact that she was in instant danger of unalife from the burning or the suffocation.
True, true. Who would have coolly gazed around him when there on the bed lay the unfortunate victim of God knows what? Well, sir, I must bid you good day. I have some patients to visit.
It was the doctor again. Sorry.
That's almost like a Bullwinkle voice. Moose and squirrel.
Not before we square accounts, which is easily done. Let me know how we may stand, sir, and I will pay you at once. This little affair is soon settled.
Harry Bullwinkle.
Okay, I won't do that. Are you okay?
It's funny.
This little affair was soon settled, and the doctor was about to depart when he said before he left the room, I'll do the nasal voice.
No, you can do the Bullwinkle. I'm going to try not to laugh. It'll be fun.
I've given the young lady directions on what to do relative to her arm. She must not make much use of it, but any medical man who may chance to see it will be able to prescribe for it, though what I have given I deem almost enough to effect her complete restoration. As far as regards to the arm, the shock the mind and the nervous system have sustained will only be eradicated by time and change. Thank you for your advice. That shall be attended to.
The doctor now quitted the hotel, and the landlord entered the apartment with a very serious aspect, and after making his bows, proceeded to say, I am very sorry, sir, for the occurrence of last night. Very sorry indeed, sir. I cannot make it out at all. I have inquired all over the house, and nobody at all knows anything about it, nor can think of how it could be. A good many of them won't believe it at all, though, and I told them there could be no doubt of it, for the young lady was burnt and the bed set afire.
You may be sure of that, landlord. The young lady has been bitten on the arm most severely.
And as for the fire, I saw how that occurred.
So you said, sir. If that fella as fell down had stood up, why, it wouldn't have set the curtains aflyer.
No, that is true.
Well then, he would have been able to have seen what was the matter instead of his filling the room full of smoke and fire as he did. He had no excuse to tumble down. Nobody knocked him down.
But didn't he hurt himself very badly?
Oh, only about 2 or 3 square inches, perhaps, a patch as big as your hand, off his chin. That's nothing to such as he.
Very good, but have you examined the place to see if anybody could have gotten in and concealed himself? Was there any possibility of a man getting into your house and secreting himself in any part of the bedroom, which would thus afford him an opportunity of doing what has been done?
Why, sir, I don't think it likely, and yet these people are so cunning that you could not by any possibility guard against them in any way, especially in an inn. But there is no house free from intrusion of that character. But in this instance, they could have had no notion of the young lady was asleep in there.
That's very true, said Captain Fraser, and tends to show that she was not singled out for outrage. But what seems very singular is this, that anyone should secret themselves, and that with a view to commit such an outrage.
That is true, said the landlord. But people do strange things sometimes, and I think the object of anyone hiding himself in the house is such a manner as this rascal must have done was robbery.
But he met with no resistance, and there could have been no excuse for so cowardly an assault as this complained of.
There is much truth in that, and yet we don't know what human nature is capable of. I have known a few things in my time, but the man, or whatever he might be, might have been tempted to make the assault complained of.
What? Then, landlord, you imagine that a thief who got into the house would make an attempt to eat a young lady?
Why, has to eaten her, sir. I cannot say that he would. I don't know what his intention might be, nor do I profess to understand it all. I can't, however, see what can be the motive save malice and spite. They mightn't care whom they injured so long as somebody was hurt.
They must have been very bad.
Oh, yes, sir. And I wish I had seen them. If I had, I would no more mind chopping 'em in two than I would have cleave a marrow bone. I truly hope, sir, that you won't consider that, however unfortunate the circumstances are, that I'm blamable in this affair. I took all the usual precautions in this affair, that is. My house was secured as usual, and the place was watched during the day, for we are particular in that respect, knowing that we are very liable to be robbed.
Exactly,
Said Captain Fraser.
and though I much regret the occurrence, yet I tell you, I do not see anything in which I say you are to blame. It is simply a great misfortune, and there ends the matter.
Thank you. I regret it as much, I am sure, as anybody, because I'm very likely to be injured by it.
You are not to blame. Allow my carriage to be at the door in half an hour, as we shall leave almost immediately.
And my horse too, landlord, as I bear this gentleman's company.
The landlord departed and went towards the stable and gave the necessary orders, while the guests remained conversing on the extraordinary occurrence that had taken place, and much pleased with the courtesy of their new friend. Many were the speculations that were indulged in respecting the attack upon Miss Stevens, many of them wild, but all wide of the mark, fortunately for her frame of mind. And then, before they had at all come to any conclusion or any satisfactory probability, the carriage was announced.
Well, Sir Francis, I presume that you will ride with us?
Yes, on horseback.
I understand so. We shall be much indebted to you for your goodness. Ah, but here is Miss Stevens.
At that moment the young lady entered the room, ready attired for travelling, but looking very pale and timid. Sir Francis advanced, and taking her hand, he said,
May I have the pleasure of hearing you say the occurrence of last night has done you only a temporary mischief?
I hope not. But to you, Sir Francis, I owe everything. I am grateful to you for your ready and effectual aid under such trying circumstances. I am sure that I never can repay you for your goodness.
Nay, the task is easier than you imagine. To know that I have saved you and to see it has been effectual as repayment enough. I am sure we never feel so much satisfaction as pleasure as when we find our endeavors are, however important, are unimportant. They are proved effectual, that we have done what we desire to do, so that it is ample reward.
You are so good.
We will say nothing about that. None are so perfect, but I need to move this closer to me. It's a little further away. There we go. We will say nothing about that. None are so perfect, but we may see room for amendment. But we will have a truce, I hope, upon this subject, and we now converse upon the pleasures of our new journey.
They, I hope, will be very many.
I have every expectation of it myself. The day appears fine and the sun is high. The storm of last evening is cleared, and the air of much of it is heat. It is cool and pleasant. The country will look refreshed. The fields will be quite gay and pleasant, and the face of nature renewed.
Well, I am certain that it will be pleasant. It will be a pleasant journey under such a change, for I must say that it was very sultry yesterday.
It was,
Said Captain Fraser.
The appearance of the earth alone will tell that. But are you all ready?
Yes, all, replied Mrs. Fraser.
Now, my dear Charles, what are you about?
I'm looking for my gloves, said the youth, but I can't find them.
Never mind them, we shall be off without you.
I'll come before you've got all into the carriage, so don't wait.
Permit me, Miss Stevens, to have the pleasure of seeing you safe into the carriage.
As he offers her his arm.
What a gentleman.
The young lady accepted of the proffered arm of Sir Francis, though not without something like reluctance, though why, she could not tell. But yet she did not like to appear to hesitate, and forced herself to do what common courtesy,
if not gratitude demanded that she should do. She took his arm, and the whole party were shortly seated in the carriage, and with Sir Francis Varney mounted beside them, they all quitted the inn, where they had experienced such strange vicissitudes of fortune during one night that it would never be erased from their memories.
Mm.
Do you remember them getting in the carriage?
I don't remember them getting in the carriage, so.
All right, I really thought I had it
Yeah.
in the right place.
It's just very repetitive at the beginning of that. So I'm guessing
was.
this was originally released as penny dreadfuls. So it would have been small sections of stories that you would have bought for a penny. And it would be almost like comic books. Every few weeks there would be a new one you could go get and you could continue on in the story. So sometimes it may be repetitive because they want to review what had just happened to keep the story going. Oh, I need to take care of something, or else we will lose one of our streams.
Oh, what's the matter?
I did not plug in one of the devices.
Oh, you should plug things in. That's
Well,
important.
I've been doing a lot of things to try to get everything in. We're changing up how we do things every week, you know.
Ah, technology.
It's so glorious sometimes.
Now I'm going to rest my voice. Ooh.
Oh, darling, you can't touch that without consent. It's not okay. She's going to rest her voice. We'll see if she can stay quiet. Maybe we can just start talking about things that she'll have an opinion on. You know, I think that when you're painting, you should use the largest brush that's possible to fit within a space. You know, most people, when you're picturing coloring inside the lines, you may think like a small crayon inside a big area. That's definitely going to keep you from getting outside of the lines, yes, but it's going to take you forever to color that space. If you got a big wide crayon, then you could color inside the lines much, much better. I signed the wedding certificate. That's consent. I don't think that'll hold up in court. We have not found the dog's owner. I'm hoping the dog found his way back home. We didn't keep him on our property because he seemed street smart enough to know how to navigate the roads. How much more of the book do we have left? We probably have... We're roughly halfway through this one, which the whole back part isn't entirely story. There's some other notes and things. But this is the second volume, and so we're about 3/4 of the way through the Varney story. Welcome in, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia is such a beautiful city. We spent a little time there once. It's the only town in Georgia I've ever really spent any time, though. Thank you. She is beautiful, isn't she? Especially when she's quiet and minding her own business and not trying to interject into a conversation between men and important figures. It's driving her nuts. She's trying to rest her voice. How long can she stand it? How much older is my wife than me? We should roll our D20 to see what we read next. We do have a D20 handy. We could definitely roll one. Maybe we'll do that. I think we rolled a D20 for a story before, didn't we? When we were doing a collection, we were doing like a collection of stories, and we rolled, I think, for the next story. The pillow isn't going to fly. She is a perfect little angel. She would never strike out against me. Drop it! Drop it! Hello, everybody. We both look like we're in our mid-40s, potentially.
All right, I'll read some more.
You're already ready to read?
So I can, have wild opinions of my own.
That's not opinions when you're reading something a man has already written. You're just sharing knowledge from... I love you so much. I'm really not this way.
May I
If
interject?
you may. Since you asked permission.
Interject. Oh. The road was pleasantly bounded on either side by hill and dale. Serenity, while it was itself of a very diversified character, and at one moment they passed through long avenues of trees, at other times a bare heath without so much as a dwarfed hedge, and then well-cultivated country would succeed, studded with handsome villas and country seats, old half-castled mansions and hills and halls, where gentlemen lived in their abodes of their ancestors and felt pride in doing so. The air was balmy and beautiful. Every object appeared fresh, and every tree and shrub looked as though new life had been infused into it. The birds sang merrily, and the whole party were in high spirits.
Such scenes as these please me better than the gaieties and the follies of the town. I am sure there is much more happiness to be found by a contented mind than there is in the feverish pleasures of a city.
There is much truth in that. But, in my own case, connected as I am with my professional friends, I cannot follow what is the natural bent of my taste. But I find pleasure wherever I go, for I am determined to make the best of all that passes beneath my observation.
Sweets can be extracted from every bitter, and therefore it is good philosophy to take the bright side of a picture in all the ordinary relations of life. We are better men and better subjects by doing so.
Thus the distance was soon passed over, and the stage was but the same as a pleasant morning ride, and then an hour or two spent of the heat of the day in quiet in some small but respectable inn, with wine and pleasing conversation, gave them a relish for the life they led. The style of the conversation of the stranger, Sir Francis Varney, was pleasing to the extreme. He was evidently a man of great and varied talents and attainments, and one of great experience, and who had seen much of life. 2 days passed this way, and they had not reached Bath. They were tempted to stop longer by the way than they would have done.
Tomorrow we must reach Bath. About 3 short stages will place us within its precincts, and then I presume the assembly room, as well as the pump room, will occupy much of your attention.
We shall certainly go there.
Have you been in Bath before?
Yes, but many years ago, when we were quite children, so I have no recollection of the place.
And you, Captain Fraser?
Oh, I suppose he was speaking to the ladies. It doesn't always make it clear.
No, I have not. I am quite a stranger there, but for the kindness of your offer, I should have to trust to strangers or my own good fortune to find those things which strangers usually seek, and those places that they usually visit.
I shall have great pleasure in showing you that which is worthy of your attention. It is now some years since I was there, but I believe, though there may be improvements, yet in the place essentially it's probably the same.
No doubt cities seldom alter much, unless it be in their suburbs. If the alterations be great, it will point itself out.
Exactly so, but I do hope they've installed $8 million worth of water slides without any contract or anything like that whatsoever. Oh, sorry.
We're talking about Bath, England, darling.
Oh, that's a totally different thing. But they have pumps in the water and all of that. And, it made me think of something else.
There might be an amazing water park in Bath of today.
Maybe?
We're 200 years ago, dear.
Yes, okay. Continue.
At least 200 years. The party was seated beneath a large cedar tree which stood in the inn garden, with a table upon which were spread some wine and biscuits, walnuts, and a few things besides of a character agreeing much to the place. Into this garden crept an unfortunate beggar-woman, whose espying the party from the road escaped the vigilance of the waiters and menials who hung about the inn, and entered. She crept timidly toward the party, looking wistfully but yet fearful of the consequences of the intrusion. For there was a notice in the village which gave forth fearful threats to them should they dare to beg for the bread for which they were starving. Presently, finding the captain's eye fixed upon her, with a beseeching look, she dropped her curtsy.
Who is that woman, and what does she want?
All turned to look upon the unfortunate creature, who began her petition by saying, "Kind ladies and gentlemen, pity a poor woman who is starving. I'm very weary and am weak with travelling."
"Hey, what do you do here?" exclaimed the waiter. "Come on, come. We don't allow beggars in this place. The high roads or the bird's well are the only places we have in these here parts."
Do not be in a hurry. It might have been right enough to prevent her entering, but now we have seen her, I cannot, if she deserves it, refuse to aid her in her affliction.
The woman dropped a very low curtsy.
My good woman, where have you come from?
"From Bath, sir."
From Bath, eh? And what took you there?
"Well, I lived there."
You lived there? If that were the case, why should you leave a place where you did live to wander about where you cannot live? This is a bad policy, methinks. What do you say, Captain?
"I think so too, Sir Francis," said the captain. "But they may be only a verbal blunder of the woman. We can't expect propriety in speaking from such people. It would be expecting too much."
"So it would," said Mrs. Fraser. "I have left Bath for 2 reasons, sir. One is that I was too unwell to work, and then my rent got into arrears. While I could work, I did pay my way through living very hard."
And what was the other reason?
"Why, sir, I was turned out of my lodging, and having nowhere to go, and finding nobody would assist me, I was compelled to beg."
What induced you to take this road, my good woman?
"Because, sir, it will, if I live long enough, carry me to Portsmouth."
Are you known there?
"Oh, no, sir."
What induces you to go so far? Speak out, and do not be afraid. We have no object in asking these questions, save with the view of assisting you if we find you a worthy subject.
"Well, I'm going to Portsmouth in the hope that I may hear from my son, whom I've not seen these many years, and who went to sea about 7 years ago."
You have a son, then?
"Oh, yes, sir, I had one. God knows if I have one now." The poor woman uttered these words with such sorrowing that all were convinced of the truthfulness of them.
Speak out and tell us your story. Bring the poor woman some refreshment. Her tale may interest us and give us food for reflection. I am sure one cannot hear the misfortunes of others without feeling grateful for the luxuries and blessings one enjoys over and above the common lot of mankind.
"That is very true, Sir Francis," said Mrs. Fraser, "and I'm sure that we ought not pass those whom we can assist by a trifle when our means will permit our doing so." "Oh, you are perfectly correct, ma'am." "Have you no husband?" "Oh, none, ma'am, none. When I had one, I had a good home over my head. I would not wish for happier or better days to come again." "What was your husband?" "He was a respectable tradesman who kept a good house and his own servants. We spent such a life as that for nearly 15 years. "And how came it to a close?" "His unaliving, sir." Oh, I suppose that was actually you asking that question.
Well, I didn't have any highlighting.
Well, it was difficult to tell, and I thought it was the lovely lady that asked the question. But I'll highlight it there, and you can say it. There you go.
And how came and how came it to be to sorry, I didn't expect anything. And how came it to a close?
"His unaliving, sir, which was brought on by a sudden cold. In a few days he was a corpse. I can never forget that dreadful day. We were living very comfortably and happy, and my husband had just at that time entered into some speculations that promised to make a handsome fortune in a few years, and all promised success and happiness, complete and continued." "Oh, how great a change," said Miss Stevens. "Oh, yes, miss, great indeed. My husband, hearing some news that caused him to be anxious to ascertain the truth, he left home on one wet night and got drenched through, and where he went to, he was obliged to remain in damp clothes, and not being a strong man, he took a violent cold, and inflammation followed. After this, he had medical advice, but he soon sank, and was pronounced beyond recovery. He unalived in a very few hours after that, and I was left a widow. A few short hours caused a great change in my circumstances." "What became of the business?" "Why, that was carried on for a time, but an accident deprived me of that." "Oh, what was that?" "I'll tell you." Oh, that's your turn again. There you go.
What was that?
"I'll tell you, sir. My son was about 14 years of age when his father unalived, and was just able to carry on the business, and I believe that we should have done pretty well, because he was a steady youth, and I could trust him, and he looked after the men employed, and I was not robbed. However, a severe misfortune awaited me. I thought the loss of my husband was a dreadful misfortune, and I believe it was. But in his case he left one behind who could help to maintain me. His loss I mourned, but it did not produce the same disastrous results that the loss of my son produced."
How came you to lose him?
inquired the captain. "Why, sir, I'd occasion to have some business transacted at Bristol. I could send no one else, though I could ill spare him, but then I was compelled to send him, and did send him. It was to accommodate some terms of sales, and he only knew the affair. He therefore went to Bristol. He was pleased enough, being his first journey, and I could hardly have resisted his importunity if I had been so inclined. He left me and arrived safely in Bristol, and was there for a day or two, when walking about one evening by the waterside, he was seized by a press gang and carried out to sea. It was useless for him to complain or to entreat. They would take him and force him on board a man-of-war. He served his king and country."
He served his king and country then,
said the captain.
"I honor him upon my soul, and you are going to learn something of him, if he be unalived or alive."
"Oh, yes, sir. I know this much. He was alive about 2 years ago, and expected to reach Portsmouth in a couple years."
"Well, proceed."
"When I heard my fate, the detention of my son, I was thrown on a bed of illness, in which I lay for nearly 3 months, during which time I was completely robbed and run into debt, and when I recovered I had but few pounds in the world, for an execution had been put into the house, and all was sold. Thus I was left without a friend or a soul to comfort me, or any relative upon whom I could call for aid and assistance. I had no right to do so to anyone, and after my misfortunes I found that my former friends deserted me, and I found that it was necessary to have the means of purchasing friends just the same as anything else, that I could obtain them for money, but without money I had no friends."
Talking about money, we're at 50,000 likes.
"All right, then."
So I think it's time we perform some magic for you. So this is a trick I call the Fed. Okay.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Yes. Well, so what we're going to do is take this bill right here. Okay. Now.
Even more amazing, he can talk while I'm drinking something.
Prove it. There's no way that I can. I feel like you're taking my gusto from my magic with your ventriloquism, but that's very impressive. Oh, look at me talk. It's as though I'm saying everything of my own accord, and she has nothing to do with it. I'm even laughing. Okay, so here we go. Look at that right there. Isn't that just like our government? They take our $100 bills away and make them into these little $1 bills. I saw the State of the Union clips today, and oh well, it is what it is.
Oh, I got myself pretty good there.
We have no update on the dog yet, but if I have an update for the dog, I promise to do so in video so everyone can know. Thank you, Roxy. We appreciate you so much.
Hello, my pen pal.
Do the card one. I'll do it. I haven't done very many tricks lately. Plus, yesterday during the city meeting, you guys got me to 50,000 and I didn't do a magic trick in the middle of city council for some reason. So we'll do one with the cards. So what I have here is a deck of cards. Simply put, what I'm going to do is take a card from this deck, flip it over backwards, and put it back into the deck. That in itself is not very impressive. What makes it impressive is I'm going to do so using just my tongue, and you guys will get to pick out the card. So somebody tell me a card. Oh.
The King of Spades. The King of Spades is what has been picked tonight. The King of Spades. Indeed, the King of Spades. Somebody picked the King of Spades, and their name is M. Thank you, M, for picking the King of Spades.
Oh.
Hi.
Oh.
Hey, hello.
Oh.
Do you think you got it?
I think so. We're about to find out. Here we go. Let's see if you can spot the King of Spades in here. Do you see it anywhere? See this one? One of these is not like the others. If I just picked your card, send me a galaxy. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Did we find the puppy's owner? No, the puppy seems street smart enough. We decided we don't have a humane society in our area anymore, and a dog of that size is not likely to be adopted, so calling animal control could very well have led to bad things for the animal. So we decided to let it wander and hope that it went home. That particular breed is known for traveling very long distances.
So I bought this from a local shop, but then I found them later on the Amazon. That's how it goes sometimes, right?
Yes, we only eat meat, no plants.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's supposed to go and be checked out at 45.
Are we going to work hand in hand with the local correction facility that our county has? I was actually talking to a person that works at our local jail, and we're going to be doing I'm going to be having some meetings and possibly a tour, maybe even a video tour with them if they're going to allow it very soon, to talk about some of the problems we're facing with the way our jail is ran due to Arkansas state laws. These things are
is
not
it exclusively Arkansas, or is this a problem over the whole country? Because
There
I
are
feel
several-
like
there are
our whole
several-
country has some issues with the same subject.
There are several states that have passed similar laws, but Arkansas is the problem. It's an Arkansas state law itself. So that is the issue, and it's not something that I can fix as a mayor. It's not something that I can't take care of that.
But you can bring awareness.
But I can bring awareness to the problem, and the problem is ridiculous, and we need to fix it.
All right. We are going to continue with our story. So if you have any really good, juicy questions, wait till the end of this chapter,
Yes,
which
it's
isn't
not very
terribly
far.
far.
And keep tapping. I'll do more magic at 100,000 taps.
Now we're back on the story. The beggar woman is talking about her story. Thus I was left without a friend or a soul to comfort me, or any relative upon whom I could call for aid and assistance. I'd no right to do so, or anyone, for after my misfortunes I found that my former friends deserted me. I found that it was necessary to have the means of purchasing friends, just the same as anything else. I could obtain them for money, but without money, I had no friends. It's good to have friends that are real, isn't it? I was by far too independent to ask for what I felt I was capable of earning. I could live upon little, and I at once left all who had formerly known me before I attempted anything. I was determined that I would not even ask work at their hands, but get it among strangers. Of course, this caused me to seek a subsistence in the lowest capacity, and I cared not for it, because it put a still greater barrier between me and my late acquaintances. It was a long time before I obtained any employment, because I was unknown to anyone who could recommend me or who wanted my services. This, of course, was to be expected, but the first place that I obtained work was through the interest of my landlady, and then I obtained more afterwards, and one led to another till I obtained a hard-earned but honest living. I had a little money by me, some £2 or £3, in case of being out of work, or in case of illness overtook me. Then I had something to fly to, the workhouse being a place of all others that I most dreaded. Sooner than go there, I would consent to be unalived by the roadside, and I've put my resolution to the test. Oh, you lost your work? Well, I fell ill for some months. All my little store of my money was gone, and my rent grew in arrear. I became more and more deeply indebted, and what food I obtained was given to me by others out of charity. But this could not last long, and as soon as I was able to walk, my landlady asked me for my rent. Then I told her that I had no money, but that in a few weeks that I could find food to enable me to get up my strength, that I should then be able to work, and that I would then pay her off by a degree, until I was out of debt. She knew what I had been, and had some thought that I had money, or that if I pleased that I could obtain it from my former friends, and expected me to make the attempt. But this I refused, and upon my doing so, she, after the first expressions of astonishment and anger, gave me the alternative of doing so or leaving the house. So I was turned out, and I had no refuge. I wandered about and knew not where to go or what to do. Indeed, I was houseless and friendless, a wanderer without a penny. I could not now obtain work. I could not do it, and my appearance caused people to shut their doors against me, and I wandered about begging. And this was the first time that I ever took what I'd not earned, save what was voluntarily given to me when I was ill. One evening, as I was creeping about, I heard some men conversing about the different vessels that were out to sea, and one of them named the one in which my son was in, and I instantly listened, and I heard one of them say that she was on her voyage homewards, and would be home in a month. I had no sooner heard this than I had some hope. I will go, I said, to Portsmouth. I will meet my son, and he will not refuse to support his unfortunate mother. I know his disposition too well to dream of it, and should he be unable to do so, I will beg for him. I slept in Bath that night, and then began to consider how I should get to Portsmouth. It was a long road. Many weary miles must be walked over ere I could get there, and as for the means, I must trust to the charity of passengers. It would not be much more than what I was doing. I could sit on a doorstep and beg, but to walk on the road where there were few or no passengers, I might starve. However, I resolved to make the attempt, because I loved my son, and if I could see him, I should see him to end my misery. I started out about 4 days ago, and I've got this far, but I've had only bread on the road, and almost despair of being able to reach there, and the charity of people is not enough to support life upon.
And where have you slept as you came along?
Wherever I could, sir. Beneath a haystack or even a hedge.
Where did you sleep last night?
Beneath a haystack about 7 miles from this place.
And is that all you've got through today?
Oh, yes, sir. Every step, and considering my weak state, I consider it good travelling, and I shall feel thankful for even that rate of travelling. You do not know how intensely that I wish to go see my son.
I have no doubt of it. My good woman, and if I can. I will help you on the road. I think yours is a case that deserves some attention. If you choose to remain here all night and rest, you may. You shall have food till you go, and some food shall be placed in your hands before you leave.
Oh, God bless you, sir. God bless you. You will indeed do an act of kindness to me.
You will stop?
And be grateful to you for your kindness.
Here, waiter.
Yes, sir?
Just take this person and see that she wants for nothing. Let her have a bed here and breakfast in the morning, and let me know what the charges are, and I will pay for it. Do you hear what I say?
Yes, sir.
Exclaimed the waiter, who considered the charge as one beneath his dignity, but he was forced to obey, and the woman was desired to follow him. Which she did, after thanking Sir Francis Varney for his humanity and generosity. Upon my word, Sir Francis, said Miss Fraser, you do those things as if they were common occurrences to you.
Why, madam, I am, and perhaps I ought to abstain from making the confession, one who does not love to come in contact with misery, but when one does not feel justified in turning away from it.
You must have a deep purse to be able to satisfy all such claimants.
I cannot do that if I were inclined or they were deserving, which many are not, as you no doubt must be well aware.
Indeed, that is a fact. Very few of the claimants possesses the same strength of right to our pity and commiseration. I am certainly struck with the woman's manners and her artless mode of telling her story.
Exactly. It bears the impress of genuineness about it.
So it does.
And then that is the case. I cannot resist the sense of my duty, which impels me to aid the distressed. But then I injure no one. I have ample means, and therefore others may do less and yet deserve more credit. I have no heirs to come into my property, and I cannot therefore injure anyone. If I were to give it all away, I should be entitled to do so.
You are as good, Sir Francis, as you are courageous and fortunate, said Miss Stevens. I am sure that I have every reason to be thankful to you for 2 preservations.
Nay, say no more about the past. You say things at which I ought to blush to hear, for my modesty is greater than you imagine. But seriously, I take more pleasure in it than most people, and that may be a set-off against my disinterestedness, for I am only laying out my money in pleasure and amusement.
Oh, no, no, that will not pass.
It will, I hope, but permit me to return and see how they have disposed of this temporary protégé of mine.
Certainly, Sir Francis. Don't let us detain you. We shall remain here some time longer, and then we shall leave the shelter of this house.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us while we read Varney the Vampire. This is from the 1840s. It is 50 years older than Dracula, and it has been a delightful story. Well, I'm glad you enjoy our live stream. Make sure to share it with others, and you can tag people in it. It will be recorded, so people who want to see it later can go onto the tube and take a look at it if they'd like. Yes, we'll do more magic when we get to 100,000 likes on the TikTok. So TikTok, you guys are solely responsible for whether I perform magic. It's a big responsibility, and you guys need to take it seriously. I'm glad your brother was able to fall asleep while we read him a bedtime story.
Oh,
that makes us
wonderful.
very happy. I've listened to her read since before we even had kids. I enjoyed listening to her read. And
I've read him a few books over the years.
it's always been delightful. Welcome in, Jeremy. It's good to see you, buddy. Where did she get the dress? I believe you can find this dress on my TikTok showcase. Is that correct? Or...
No, they're sold out.
Oh, they're all sold out. Never mind. Never mind. I don't know where you can get this dress anymore.
Perhaps one of the resale places.
Maybe.
Oh, golly, I can't think of one of them's names right now.
These are the same people who are running for
Depop.
mayor, ?
Perhaps you could find one on Depop.
So yes, I am running for mayor. She is not running for mayor. I wouldn't vote for her. She's too much of a tyrant. This is seriously a discussion we've had, isn't it, dear? I'm not
Yes,
exaggerating.
he has had the discussion that he wouldn't vote for me.
I wouldn't be able to vote for her. She thinks she can run everything with an iron fist. Like, that building's ugly. We should burn it down. We should knock it over. Like, yeah, well, that's not the way the government works. Like, we can't just do whatever we want.
I know. I am one that wars with myself, and it's okay.
Yes, yes.
Arguably, he could be considered an actor.
I currently have a contract for performing in a movie for money, which makes me a professional actor. I think because it's contracted. I don't know. Am I a professional after I actually get paid?
I don't think we have an IMDb page yet, though.
No, that'll be put together after the movie, I suppose.
Thank you. Hello, Nina.
The mayor is a nonpartisan position. Do we guys do we live in a castle? Well, your home is your
Maybe.
castle.
Maybe Poshmark? Yeah, that's the name. I think it's Depop and Poshmark.
You would vote for her.
Thank you.
If you're going to be ruled by an iron fist, it might as well be hers. Do we have any 3 bedrooms available? Not today, but you can send me a message and keep following. I may have one available soon. It's always hard to say.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Yay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys that are fans and support us. The hearts, the stars, the likes, all those things are very helpful to us.
I'm going to rest my voice now.
There's no way she can keep quiet. We could just talk about some interesting subject like I wonder about that blue stuff some people are taking for their health. I bet there are some interesting studies and things about the way that could impact a person's brain and the way it could impact aging. There's probably all sorts of interesting things I don't know about that. Oh well, I guess I'll never know and we'll never talk about it. Yeah, it would be interesting, I know. I can tell you want to talk about it, but it's okay. She can sit here and rest her voice. What would you describe your attire as? I love it. I would call it clothes. These are clothes. They're made out of various types of textiles that are woven together on machines and cut into shapes and then sewn together. We call these clothes. I don't know what else you would call them. Very Mortician Gomez. You say the sweetest things. Someone talked about a spoonful of sugar, dear. What is a spoonful of sugar good for, dear? Shout out from Springfield, Missouri. Love you and the B&Bs. And aw, thank you so much. I hope sometime you can come stay in one. It's only about 4 hours away. She's going to resort to whistling. I'm getting hungry. I wish you would feed me. She's whistling. Isn't it weird the face she makes when she whistles? I have to pucker when I whistle. I dress like a rock star. Well, thank you. What's my favorite food? I only eat meat. I don't eat any plants. Unless you consider eggs to not be meat, I guess, and butter. But meat and high-fat animal products. Oh. That's pretty impressive. The vote doesn't happen until November for mayor. How does she do that? She's my angel of music. Whistle for me, my angel of music. Believe it or not, I am not a realtor. You don't need to be a realtor to be a real estate investor. Somebody needs the vampire teeth explained. I'll make a video about it soon. It's been a while. I'll make another video about it. At what age would we like to retire? Never. We don't want to retire. We want to be free to do the things we want to do, but retirement isn't the choice. To not do things, to not be productive is one of the quickest ways to quit growing in life. We want to be uncomfortable. We want to challenge ourselves. That's important.
Are you ready?
I was born ready, baby.
Good.
Do I have lines in this?
Yes.
Okay. I've had a lot of reading tonight.
We will eventually have some lines.
Okay.
He's trying to schmooze.
I know.
He's like, Miss Stevens, you're a lovely lady.
A lovely lady or a tasty lady. Which is it?
I guess he has had a taste already.
Yes.
After Sir Francis Varney had left the place where the Frasers were sitting, there was a long silence in which each of the party appeared to be engaged in meditating deeply upon something or other, and yet each shrunk from expressing them. The first who broke the silence was Captain Fraser, who said, "Well, my dear, what do you think of our new acquaintance?" "I think he's a most amiable man." "Very courtly," observed his sister. "Yes, a sure sign of good breeding, of good company." "He is that," said Captain Fraser. "I never met with one in whom dignity, ease, and complete and unceremonious courtesy were so well blended." "And yet he appears to be very kind and an amiable man." "But," said Miss Stevens, "he's also a very strange and very singular man, a very singular man indeed. I never saw such a man before, or anyone approaching him. What a strange complexion." "Well, he does have a singular complexion, and it strikes me that he is well aware of it, and that is the reason why he prefers country to a town life, and his solitariness, together with his manners, all indicate that his peculiarity in this respect causes him much annoyance." "I never saw anything so terrible," said Charles. "Hush, Charles, do not speak in that way. It's ungrateful." "I hope not. It's merely the truth. I never saw a corpse so pale. Indeed, he is such a one as you might imagine to have started out of the grave with an unwholesome life, and whoever had resuscitated him had forgotten to warm his blood or to put life into his veins." "How very absurd you are, Charles. I am sure that Sir Francis Varney deserves better of you than that.
He does.
You are under a great obligation to him. I feel assured that he feels the peculiarity of his complexion. I mean, it has an effect upon his mind, and if we knew the cause of it, it is possible some disinterested action terminating in evil to himself has been the cause of it." "Well, sister, I do not mean to say that you can admire such a vestige, but you ought not to say that I am ungrateful, for I am not. And moreover, I never saw any gentleman who I liked better. His conversation is quite superior, but then gratitude surely does not prevent one noticing so glaring a circumstance." "Certainly not," said Captain Fraser, "though I fancy that it would be better to remain silent upon such topics, if we cannot commiserate them." "I think you are quite right, Fraser," said Mrs. Fraser. "He deserves respect at our hands, and the less that is said in regard to his misfortune, the better." "I think the evening is getting very cool," said Miss Stevens. Will you remain here any longer? I shall return to the house. Oh, we may as well all go, especially if you feel chilly. I do. Then come along. Tomorrow I'll be in Bath. Come, sister. You must be quite well to share in the gaieties of the place. You know that you said you should have the greatest pleasure there. You have been anticipating it all along. Oh, I did. But you will do so now. Why should your expectations not be fulfilled? I can see no reason why they should not. Bath is a wonderful place, and a city apparently made solely for the amusement of those who can pay for them. Oh, but I've been so alarmed and so terrified, sister. I know that, my dear, but you have had now 2 days of constant change of scene, and lived, I may say, almost wholly in the open air, so that you ought not now to be very nervous, sister. I might be worse under other treatment, replied Miss Stevens. But at the same time, you can have no idea of what it is to suffer from such an outrage. You cannot conceive anything like it. Well, I dare say not. I am sure it must have been dreadful.
Oh, it must, said the captain. But we will not say anything about the matter so disagreeable and so inexplicable.
Suppose we go in? Ah, with all my heart. We shall be in Bath tomorrow, and you will have nothing to fear. So how does your arm feel now? Oh, it's sore, but much of the inflammation has gone down, that I think I will soon be well, and then I shall be able to use it as I used to do. I don't think it will leave any permanent injury or evil behind.
Well, I am glad of it,
said the captain. And they now all returned to the inn, while the whole of the party passed the remainder of the evening in company, retiring at an early hour, with the view of rising early for the purpose of getting into Bath in the afternoon, or before the evening set in at all costs. We'll take a break.
She's going to take a breather for a moment while I chit-chat with you. Then we're going to have some more time for me to be doing some reading, it appears. It's interesting. So Varney's so kind and helpful. He's helped this lady out. He's just the most friendly fellow you could ever imagine. You enjoyed the skate meet and greet. Oh, I'm glad. It wasn't exactly a meet and greet, but anytime anybody wants to join us skating, we do jacks every other Monday night here in Fort Smith, and you're welcome to come out and hang out with us. But the interview, he got to ask me several tough questions, and it was a lot of fun. I like to have conversations with people. And yes, Donna wants us to reach our rose goal. I've had the rose goal up here for a very long time, and no one has ever hit it. 10,000 roses I know is a lot, but we have definitely gotten that amount in gifts before, so I understand it's a possibility. You guys would just have to get very serious and commit to make that happen.
So I believe the dog was headed back to where it seems like it's someone else here said that he lived.
Yes, so we didn't think it was appropriate to take him inside. He seemed like he was able to navigate the streets and understood where he was going and calm. He wasn't barking at anybody or anything, so I thought, well, we'll let him mosey around. But he was there last night. He was here, and he was here this morning. So if we see him again later, we will probably try to act a little bit more. Yeah, he was definitely interested in the carnivore diet.
The next morning came, and with it a cloudless sky. They were all in high health and spirits, and sat down for breakfast that was especially prepared for them. What has become of your protégée?
I have not seen her in the morning. I have not risen long, and I have had no time to spare, but intend to see her before I go, and see that she has means to reach Portsmouth in safety.
Will you send for her here, Sir Francis?
Certainly, if you wish it. I will tell the waiter to inquire if she be ready, and before she goes, to send her up.
That will be the best. This accordingly was done, and in about a quarter of an hour the poor woman came up to the room, where were several alterations for the better in her appearance, and she did not look so careworn and cast down as she had done. She appeared thankful and refreshed with rest and food.
You are now ready to start, my good woman.
I am, sir, thanks to you.
I wish you all possible success in your mission, and I hope your son may be living and prove grateful to you as his mother.
If living, I'm sure that he will, sir, and I do not doubt now, but I shall be able to meet with him, thanks to your bounty.
I hope you may. Have they treated you well in the house below?
Oh, yes, very well, sir, thank you, and kindly.
I'm glad of it. Have you any food given you to carry you on your road?
I have, thank you, sir.
Then there remains now nothing to be done but to give you some silver to enable you to provide for lodging and now and then a lift on the road.
Oh, thank you, sir. As she took the silver which Sir Francis held out to her, she could only shed tears of gratitude, and Miss Stevens added some to it from her own pocket.
You have our best wishes. Go now. We have done all we can do for you. Good day.
Oh, God bless you. May you never experience misfortune or ever know the want of even luxuries you who can give deserve to have. The poor and unfortunate have few such as you, sir, for benefactors.
That will do. Good day to you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, said the woman, curtsying low, and then turning round, she left the apartment.
Poor thing. She has a long journey before her. A temporary aid given to poor people often lifts them above want and places them in a decent position in society.
So it does.
Yet you see people disclaim charity and say private charity is
Pernicious.
pernicious, yes, in its effects. But there are two sides to any picture. An individual might as well say it is pernicious to take medicine because people sometimes poison themselves with some of the ingredients. Besides that, it does good to state. Keep in mind, at this point in time, we were still doing mercury baths as a medicine. Yes, I can't imagine. Sometimes poison themselves with some of the ingredients. Besides that, it does good to state, for it often prevents such a one from coming to the state and being a burden upon society at large. I am really of the opinion that much temporary distress might by aid be avoided. Such temporary distress might by aid be avoided, while without that aid it would in all probability become permanent.
There is much wisdom in what you have said, Sir Francis, though you must be aware that it opens the door to much abuse and reliance upon the charity of others, which can scarcely be credible.
Oh yes, I expect there is an abuse of everything, but we do not from that argue its total cessation.
At that moment the landlord entered the room, saying the carriage was ready, as it had been ordered.
Then we may as well at once proceed to the carriage, which is waiting, and we are ready to depart.
She's closer to the pages than I am, so I'm looking at it from further away, and also the light is backlighting me. I am ready too.
They once more left the house that they had slept in, and the carriage again bore them onward towards the city of Bath, which was now only 3 short stages from them, and where they could arrive at almost any hour they pleased, if they chose rapid travelling. But this they did not, because it deprived them of much of the pleasure of travelling, the view, and of the beauties of the road. There were many gentlemen's seats on the road, which called forth comment and admiration, as well as many smaller estates and houses. They were often picturesquely situated, as well as lonely. At length they came within sight of the famed city, and each moment they neared it, they saw fresh evidences of a large and populous place. However, they stopped not, but the closer they came to the town, the faster they went, until they were really within the city.
Here we are in Bath at length. It is a fine city, and much of fashion and talent may be found here.
I am glad that we have arrived here at last, said Captain Fraser.
And so am I, said Mrs. Fraser, for I am almost tired of riding every day. I begin to want rest. I want to stop for a time in one place.
We get fatigued, even with a change, said the captain. After a time, and yet our lives are a complete round of change. Yes.
Oh, yes, if you consider the character of time. They now stopped at one of the principal hotels, into which they all entered and ordered their dinner, and while the ladies arranged themselves for the occasion, Sir Francis Varney and Charles walked out into the town, where they amused themselves with looking at the different objects which were presented to the gaze of the stranger. In all these things, Sir Francis appeared to be well versed. He knew what was now and what had been formerly.
Nice break spot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So, how are you feeling? How much more do we have in this chapter?
These 3 columns.
And that completes the chapter.
See?
Okay. I think that'll be a good stopping point here in a little bit. We are not anywhere near 2 magic tricks. You guys have been not doing very good on the tappy taps up here. When you give us likes, that helps us a lot. Are we millionaires? Yes, we are. It's not as fancy as it sounds. It took my entire life working. I come from a very poor background, as poor as it's possible to be in the United States. And 20 years of work, if I sold everything I had, I would have had less than $100,000 to show for everything. That counted my home, equity, all those things. I was worth almost nothing. Then I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and we played the board game Cash Flow. It was actually her decision to get this board game. She spent $80 on it. $80. You can find it in my TikTok showcase. And I complained. I was like, we can't afford $80 on a board game. And she's like, no, I think it'll help us. I heard about it from this digital creator guy. I don't think she called him a digital creator, but I was like, okay, well, let's play it. We played the game, and she was right, and I was wrong. And literally the next day I called a bank. We started buying real estate the next day. I think it took us 6 to 8 weeks to get our first property. But within a year and a half, I'd increased my net worth 10 times. I went from, I wish I'd read that 20 years ago. It would have changed my life so much sooner. But maybe I wasn't ready for it then. Maybe this was the right timing.
I have not read The Wealthy Barber. However, I have read The Richest Man in Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
And many of the things in that book still stand true.
Yep. Her fangs, just like mine, they show more when she's hungry. She always eats before story time.
I made sure to have a big, juicy steak.
She has this really long tongue, and it's difficult for her to talk with her fangs showing and bared.
Thank you so much. Got just a little bit left to go before we're finished with this chapter. And Shane doesn't have any lines.
I was a technology consultant, so I helped companies, small businesses with their technology.
Oh no, we're not reading Hansel and Gretel. We're reading Varney the Vampire. 2 days had passed, and there had been but little time lost, so far as the visiting of one part of the city and another was concerned, and they gradually became acquainted with and visited the different places of amusement, at least so many of them as could be visited by them in time. Sir Francis Varney was the chaperone, and as he obtained attention and consideration wherever he went, he was a valuable aid and assistance, and the family had now got quite used to him, and he to the family. The peculiarity of his countenance or complexion wore off, his pleasing manners producing an effect that acted as an antidote to that, which was likely to cause some peculiar feelings in all who looked at him. But his courtly manner completely took from anyone with whom he came in contact the power and the desire to exhibit any dislike or aversion. However, there was not one among all those who looked upon him who did not look upon him with various emotions, but they were only such as a result from a source that acted upon their feelings and tastes, without producing any deep or permanent emotion in any one. Great care was taken by Sir Francis in dress, and his display was altogether good, but there was no ostentation in his manners. His manners were those of a man who was used to the position and sphere above what he even then moved in. There was no mistake in the matter at all, and the Frasers were well convinced that he was what he appeared to be, and there was, moreover, an evident partiality for Miss Stevens manifested by him, which had already been more than once remarked by the captain and his lady, who tactily approved of the honor, though, Nothing was broached on either side.
Sir Francis appears to be very gentlemanly,
said the captain. Very, said the lady. Very. I never saw one whom I could find so little fault with. Indeed, I may say that he has none.
That is a very extensive compliment at all events, said the captain. No fault is a thing that you can say of, but very few people indeed.
I mean, as far as personal behavior is concerned, of course I know nothing more. His demeanor appears perfectly unexceptionable. I am sure that I never saw anyone at all his equal in that respect.
Perhaps not. He appears to be very attentive to your sister, indeed. I should say he appears to be very partial.
I think so, too. What do you say to Sir Francis Varney, Mary? Inquired Mrs. Fraser. As a lover, Oh, I cannot think of him in such a light, said Miss Stevens.
And wherefore not?
Inquired the captain. Because I could not bear the idea. Oh, I don't know why. I can't tell you, but I could not do so. It would be against my nature to accept such a lover. It would much pain me to refuse one who had done so much for me, but I could not accept him.
She's into ladies.
Upon my word, you appear to feel strangely upon this matter.
I think that you might think twice before you answered thus.
Oh, no. I think how much I might, it could make no alteration in my mind. For the more gratefully I think, the more I endeavor to be, yet the stronger would be my repugnance to have such a man for a lover. Oh, dear me, Mary! How can you say so? Well, I do indeed.
Ah, well, girls will be girls, but he has not done you the distinguished honor to ask you, so you must not refuse in anticipation. You may consider the grapes are sour because they hang so high.
You ask me a question to which I have given you the best answer that I can upon the moment. Besides, we know nothing of Sir Francis.
We know enough of him, I think, to speak, and to think with the utmost gratitude of him. Not that should make any of us overlook the precautions that are usual on such occasions.
And as for your opinion, why, that it may be amended in time, and I am sure that what we do know of him is enough to cause us to respect him, and to have confidence in him. He has not sought our acquaintance, and that is one guarantee in his favor. So it is.
But this is all useless. Sir Francis appears very sensitive. He is of a retired habits and tastes, and perhaps something of that may result from the disadvantage under which he lies, which he may feel severely.
So he might, and therefore I would never, if I could help it, make any personal allusion of any character before him, even though I were speaking of someone else, and it had no reference to him as he made apply to himself.
That is quite right, and just what it ought to be.
Pardon me.
She always has just one hiccup. Never more. In the last video, there was a single hiccup. I don't know if y'all noticed that, or the video yesterday of the house walkthrough. At one point, you had one of your single hiccups.
He has also speculated that I am constantly having the hiccups. They're just so spaced out. Oops.
That
be
she's
careful,
just
dear.
never gotten rid of the hiccups. It's just she only has like once a day.
You had single hiccups during pregnancy?
I know we're almost to 100,000. I'm in advance of you getting to 100,000 taps, going ahead and getting some rope out so I can perform some magic for you in just a moment. Does that sound fun?
Well, my darlings,
What?
we reached the end of our chapter for the night.
Right, but we're almost to 100,000 likes.
Wonderful.
And I think that they're going to want to do some magic, so I thought perhaps I would get the rope out and play with it for just a minute. You've been tapping since 50K. Wow, thank you so much for your hard work. This is one of my favorite knots. Some people think I'm a bit naughty. What do you think? Do you like? We got to 100,000 likes. That means I need to perform some magic for you. And I'm going to do so using this rope right here. Now, this is a trick I don't want anyone trying to do at home. This trick is definitely dangerous. So this is for professional use only. It's caught in my hair, hang on. There we go. There we go. Don't pull my hair.
Oh, you
Yeah,
did
still
pull your
got
hair a
some
little
hair.
bit. You need to learn to do that one with your hair up.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
You thought he was going to tie me. Goodness gracious.
No, that's later. I like where your mind's going. We love you guys so much. Our designated time to go to bed is at hand. We will be back on very soon. I love you all so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. We've been together 25 years. Good night, darlings. Good night. Au revoir. Arrivederci.